Hello guys, and you're welcome to another video of Shadow Slave. And I may seem a bit down in this video, and to be honest, I'm tired, and it's way past my bedtime. But I just can't stop reading Shadow Slave at this point. But I am going to make this the last chapter for today, and I'm not going to read, no matter how much of a cliffhanger it is. I'm not going to read another chapter after this. This is going to be last chapter. Let me update it real quick. This is 2970. Its title is Burning Darkness. So this is going to be the last Shadow Slip chapter I'm going to read today, because I want to read other chapters with more energy. So let's get right into it. And if you want a brief of previous chapters, man, epic. Moderate is a story right now. Sunny, Nephis are fighting the wild thieving bird through time in the tomb of Ariel. They were fighting him in present, then they fought him before the defilement when Verge was a populated human city, and now they are fighting it in another time period which we don't know yet. So let's read. Different skies, different faces of the great river, night and day. Sunny, Nephis, and the thieving bird plummeted through space and time, leaving a trail of fractured realities behind them. It was a wondrous experience that no one except for them had ever known before. And yet, they paid it a little attention, wholly preoccupied with trying to kill each other. Sunny tore into the flesh of the wild thieving bird, trying to get to its heart and render it apart. The wild thieving bird shrieked and cried, slicing him and Nephis viciously with his talons and piercing them with his beak. Nephis burned like a star, annihilating the very air around them, trying to reduce the cursed terror to ashes. In this fatal battle, where an enemy far more lethal than any they had faced before was willing their demise into existence, she had to push her aspect to its very limits, inventing new ways of channeling her power into on the fly. The white flame enveloped the thieving bird and was enveloped by a vast and unfathomable shadow in turn. It burned the cursed terror, but it heat the shadow instead of incinerating it. That was how Sunny was managing to survive under the terrifying onslaught of the cursed deity for now, and why he had not been annihilated by the merciless purity of the companion's radiant soul yet. As, the, as their incarnations fought ferociously across the endless maze of fragmented time, their wills were locked in a vicious battle as well. The thieving bird was weakened by the three curses, but its horrid will was still as vast as the sky, as deep as the ocean, tyrannical and terrifying. However, Sunny and Nephis were not powerless in their defiant clash either, especially not when they were working towards a common goal in seamless harmony. The sum of their titanic wills might not have reached the immensity of a god's authority, but when it came to killing intent and ruthless determination to kill, they had no equals. They were children of the war realm after all. They had been forged and tempered by the nightmare spell, having lived a life that consisted. I'm very sorry, I'm getting too excited with it. Having lived a life that consisted of little except bloodshed and strife. Their past had shaped them into killers, into destroyers of things. That was the only way of living they had ever known, and what they were best at. Facing a cursed terror had been a shock at first, but now that they were submerged in battle, walking the fine line between existence and destruction, they were swiftly learning how to fight their terrifying enemy. The thieving bird was ancient, it was unfathomably powerful, its vitality seemed infinite. And yet it was also mad and bestial, having been driven into insanity by the corruption, or perhaps it had never been sane to begin with. After all, what else would it steal? Why else would it steal viewers' eye despite knowing that Crossing that demon of fate was probably the worst idea anyone had ever conceived of. So even if the thieving world was so tough that even attacks of supreme titans rolled off it like drops of rain, and even if it showed no sign of being severely wounded despite being assaulted by their combined powers, it was still being diminished little by little. The more wounds they dealt it, the more its seemingly boundless vitality flowed out of them, and the more they battered its will, the less insurmountable it became. Even if their own wills felt less and less inexhaustible as they suffered the dreadful agony of its attack, driven into a frenzy by the pain. They were barreling through a starlit sky, the great rivers shining radiantly in the darkness far below. A moment later, they tore through a fissure in the fractured reality and escaped into the blinding radiance of day, moving mere meters above the water. Then they plunged into the cold currents, making the surface of Great River unendurable, colossal waves rising from their passing. Then they were suddenly surrounded by utter darkness. Still water stretched far as I could see. There was a familiar shape right in front of them, rising from the soil of a vast island like a black stele. It was Athena's tower. Before Sunny could realize what was happening, the three of them smashed through it, destroying most of its metal floors and sending its top flying down from the hill. A devastating rain of stone debris descended upon the dark island, toppling myriad trees. The top of the tower rolled down and crashed into the forest, destroying a vast swathe of it. A moment later, they were already somewhere else in a different time. The sky was blazing with a million hues of crimson. There it was permeated with by the deafening roar of falling water, and a great waterfall stretched in both directions beneath them. A boundless black sky extended from the plumes of fine vapor into infinity. There were ruins of an abandoned city being drawn towards the edge. Sunny recognized it as well. It was fallen Greece. It was fallen Greece after the last river people had abandoned it to seek refuge in the ark that Daron of the Twilight Sea and King Kronos had built. As the mass of living flames ravaged, the thieving birds rose, assuming a vaguely humanoid shape, and raised a colossal ray of pure light like a sword to bring it down on the loathsome terror's neck. The first of the island ships fell over the edge, disappearing into the tunnels of plummeting water and into the endless darkness beyond. A moment later, they were somewhere else. The dark carapace of an enormous turtle moved through the water beneath them. As Nephis brought the blessing down with all her titanic might, the thieving bird let out a shrill claw and twisted its neck, somehow avoiding the strike. It should not have been possible according to how space was supposed to work, but Nephis still missed. The blessing plummeted down like a ray of sunlight and clearly cleaved through the black carapace beneath them, severing the great monster in two. Before its blood mixed with water, they were already beyond the horizon. Reality fractured once more and they broke through the widening fissure, escaping into the light. And now, man, yo, peak, absolute cinema. I know what is going on here. I definitely know what is going on here. Remember when they came to the tomb of Ariel and it was destroyed, and they had a little talk with Anke, and Anke told them about some unique thing, like a black vast flying thing comes every decade or so in the tomb of Ariel since ancient time, and there was no recollection of it in the real in the nightmare. So that was actually Sunny, Nephis, and Wild Thieving were fighting each other, and it was because Sunny was a huge shadow and was black. So that's how it was going through, and I think I and I'm going to predict something. I'm going to predict something. We were destroyed. Weave has not yet been mentioned yet. I guarantee you, in next chapter or so, they are going to battle on Weave. They are going to crash in the waters of Weave, and it's getting completely destroyed. Sunny NFs were the one, the terrifying being that showed up every decade or so in Tomb of Herils and ancient times. Peak, peak, absolute sin. That's going to be it for this video. I'm so fighting myself to get to sleep and not read the rest of it because I'm so invested in it. But I will read it with more energy so I can react more to it. It's going to be the end of this video, and if you like the content, you should like, share and subscribe to the channel so that you can see more of these contents. I'm also reading a lot of the mysteries in this channel, and I will start live streaming once I hit 100 subs. So subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.